So, for the past couple of weeks now, I've had the opportunity to play around with this new line of security cams from EUFY. Now, they're all a little different, pretty similar in some ways. Each offers something unique. And in this video, I want to share what each one has been like to use, what my experience has been with them, what you can expect, that sort of thing. Now, when I look at the setup, there's one word that comes to mind, and that is command center. These cameras all together form a pretty capable security command center, something that in the past you might have expected to see in a casino or like a movie star mansion. But no, these days this is totally approachable to anybody because it is very easy to set up. Some of these don't require any sort of wiring at all, and even some of them that do, it's not that complicated. There is no monthly fee for any of these. All of these utilizes the EUFY system, which means that you get access to their software, their app, how you control everything. And within the software, there are a lot of different features that you can use, including like AI recognition, AI tracking, scheduling. Each specific cameras has different options and settings, and get a good idea of what's going on around your home. So let's take a look at each one. And if you're interested in any particular security camera more than others, I have made an in-depth video on each of these products. Okay, out of all the cameras, this might actually be my favorite. Mostly because it is the most nimble, it is the cutest, it's the most practical in terms of finding a spot, moving it around, in terms of installation, all of that. This is the Solocam S340. And what we have here is a camera. Now, all of these cameras have two cameras. That's kind of their new thing. Even the Doorbell has two cameras. We'll get into that in a second. But they all have two cameras so that you basically get a wide angle and a narrow perspective. So you get a zoomed in and you get a wide angle. All the cameras are slightly different in terms of like 3K, 4K, 2K, the combination. But they're all quite similar in the sense that you got two of them. So for this one here, we got the camera, and then we have the little solar panel. Now, the only thing you need to do in order to install this is to put this, there's a couple of ways you can install it, but you install this bracket on a tree or eaves or your house or wherever, you hook it up, you plug this in, and as long as you get 2 hours or so of sunlight a day on average, this is going to run in perpetuity. So you never have to think about wiring, about charging, about anything like that. You just plug it in and it's ready to go. Now, I don't know if you have seen this kind of mover. This one is actually activated right now. It's been moving around a little bit. So this swivel function here, this is the 360 swivel motion that's available on the indoor camera and the floodlight. For obvious reasons, the Doorbell does not. But basically, the first time I saw this, I got a little freaked out because I read about this, but I hadn't realized that it was actually going to turn all around and it's going to start tracking me. It catches onto somebody and it starts tracking that person, and then the whole camera kind of moves. There are no blind spots, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So you can swivel it around, you can turn it around, you can view up, you can view down, you can check wherever you want to check. The other feature that this one has, well actually this one too, is this concept of two-way communication where you can talk. You can use the app and you can talk through your phone, which can be, jarring and confusing for somebody walking by just to hear somebody talking to them. But it can also be really practical if you want to communicate with whoever is outside the door with a package.
See you out there.
Hello.
Hi.
Or you want to communicate to your kids playing outside in the yard, then you could, if you have this up in a tree, you can just talk to it and they will hear you. If you want to tell them it's time to come in for dinner or whatever. You can set the alarm if we want to do that. You can take this off, and this comes with a wire, and you can install the solar panel at a slightly different location. You want to put this on the roof, for example, and you want to put this under the eaves. So you want to make sure this has access to sun. You can do that. This also has a light, activate from a security point of view, but also practical. I've used it a bunch of times when I'm walking around in the dark with my dog at night, and then the light pops on. I don't know, this one might be my favorite. Now the Floodlight Cam here, which is one I just reviewed, and it has a lot of the same features in terms of how the camera moves. These two products feel pretty similar in many ways, with the large exception that this also doubles as a really bright light. So if you've been planning on installing, you know, a floodlight, a bright outdoor light for, you know, on your driveway or in your backyard, something where you actually want to be able to like get a good view and see what's going on, this would be the product for you. And when it turns on, it is like, it's really bright. It's 2000 lumens, this guy. The light on this one is much smaller and it's more like a spotlight that comes on, whereas this one has a lot of brightness, and you can control this too. You can dim it. It doesn't have to be that bright in your face, because you might just want to have this unit as an ambient light as well. You want to illuminate your area, but you don't want it to be like super bright. You can do that as well. The difference between this guy and this guy, except for the lighting, is primarily that this needs to be hardwired in. And there are a couple of different options in terms of how you can do that. You can either connect it to an existing light fixture, floodlight area. If you already have a setup and you want to replace it, it's pretty easy to switch out. Or you can connect it to what I have done here, to a wire where you create a plug, so you can plug it into an outlet and set it up that way. So there are a lot of options in terms of how you want to connect it. You can also install this where you have this guy towards the wall, like where it's installed like that, or you can move it and put it on top here, so this hangs down. So if you have, I don't know, a carport or something where you want to hang this from the roof or from the ceiling with like light pointing down, the camera pointing down, you can do that. Now the software on both of these use this tracking where it will lock onto something and it will follow that person around. I did a test with my kid and we both were in the shot, and I was curious like to see if it could, like, who it would follow. And it seems for the most times it follows that whoever was there first. Of course, I'm taller than him, he's really short, so it tended to catch on to me, maybe, I don't know, because I'm bigger, but then at one point it did switch over to him when he ran in front of me. So maybe whoever is like in front, or whoever it catches on first. But it's kind of an interesting feature to see the camera actually move as you're walking. And it's a little bit, you didn't expect it if you're walking up to somebody's house and then you see this camera just following you, you're moving. It's a little uncomfortable, really. But it's really practical. And then of course you get notified on your phone and you can see this. Now in terms of this AI capability, this one, for example, can differentiate between, is it a dog, is it a pet, is it a human, or is it a vehicle? Now these cameras are good enough in the sense that you can zoom in from quite far away if you wanted to get a license plate or something like that, or somebody's face. This guy is not unlike these two. I think this one is the cutest one in terms of, it looks like a little robot. But this one is for indoor use. So this one is powered with a USB cord. And you can put this wherever you want in your house. And this will also turn and swivel and all of that. So when would you use the indoor cam? Well, I would use it when I'm not home. I mean, this is activated by motion, right? So if I'm not home, I want to be notified that, oh, there is movement within your house when you're not there. Of course, in my case, that would be my dog, which is another reason why I would use this. If I had the setup in the room where he is, you know, spending time when I'm not there, then I can keep an eye on him, see what he's doing, that kind of idea. And you can also use this in a similar way if you want to keep an eye on your kids when they're playing, when you're not near them, if you want to use it as a baby monitor for your baby when they're sleeping. And again, what's working here is that you can check this on your phones. You can kind of check the live viewing if you just kind of want to log in and say, oh, what's going on? Are they playing? Is the baby sleeping? Is the dog behaving? You can do all that like on your phone. I have plugged it, unplugged it, moved it from room to room a bunch of times, and there hasn't been any issues in picking back up connection, you know, because sometimes that is a problem. When you disconnect and then it needs to find its way again, it needs to like log into the system. That hasn't been an issue here. These kind of all fall into one category, I would say, because these all have similar kind of cameras, motion activation, all of that. Now the camera here that's a little bit different from all of these is this guy. This is the Doorbell camera. Now there's a couple of cool features about this one. This my favorite is that it's a hybrid in terms of power. You can either install it using just the battery, or you can wire it in like you would a traditional doorbell. Now, if this is a long-term situation, it would be a good idea to wire it in. But what if you are traveling? What if you just want to set up a, I don't know, this kind of camera in your apartment and you don't know how long you're going to be there, and I don't know. There are lots of situations where you may just want something temporary, and then this will work really great using the chargeable battery. And then you take it out and you charge it every now and then. It doesn't even take that long to charge. So that is kind of a neat feature. Now I did a test with this guy and my current doorbell camera, which I've had now for a couple of years, primarily because I was curious what's the difference in quality. And this guy has two cameras, like these all have two cameras, but that's what this one has as well. And the purpose of that is that it can view straight ahead and it can view down. My current system has this blind spot where you can't really see the package. You can see if somebody walks up to the door and you can see, you know, right ahead. But if they put the package actually anywhere near the door, you can't see it at all. So this works much better because you have these two views. And also with the AI capability, it will see that what's laying on the ground is a package. The software understanding what is what. Like, yes, there is AI tracking here where you can save people, where you can, you know, it will know like, oh, Linn is coming, or, you know, other members of my family are coming up, and you can save that within the system. And that way you will be notified when somebody who is not in your system comes up. So if a delivery person or a stranger or whatever. Now, there's that capability within the software. What's also really useful is just the software being able to know that, oh, this is a package compared to this is a human, compared to this is a dog, and this is a vehicle. Another feature that works quite well on all of these units is the night vision. There is color night vision, so even when it's pitch black and you ring the doorbell, or you come up to these guys, or if you can use the indoor one as well. The indoor one, I don't believe it has color vision. Maybe it's just black and white, I can't remember. But these guys, when you're outside and you come up and you can see in color when it's pitch black. That is a pretty nice feature because it works really well, and it's rather practical if it's dark, if your light goes out or whatever. Now EUFY also offers Homebase 3, which is their external like hard drive option where they can store a lot of data. These units all have some storage capability without that, so you don't actually need that. But if you want to store a lot of information over a longer period of time, you don't want to run out of space, that is something to consider. I think my favorite thing about all of these products here is the fact that there is no monthly cost, obviously, and that you really feel like you are in charge of your little domain of the world, where you can just like go from camera to camera to camera. You can go check what's going on, you get notified. It gives you a great sense of control over your situation in your life, and just be notified too if you're not home and somebody's coming up, or I don't know. It's nice to have an idea of who's coming in, who's going. I want to say thanks to EUFY for working with me on this series of videos. I have been rather enjoying them. I really love testing out new technology and new products, and these have been really kind of fun and very useful. You know, sometimes you test things out and they're kind of cool, but you don't use them that much. This is actually very useful. So let me know if you have any thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.